Jamell Maurice Demons, a name that most of you aren't aware of. But if I say YNW Melly, most of you would definitely know who I'm talking about. A rap musician aged only 24 who has given some big hits during the past few years, and in this short period has collaborated with artists like Kanye, or Yeah, as he goes by nowadays, and Juice Wrld. But today it's not his music which has made him a topic of our discussion. Today, the singer who only 2 to 3 years ago featured on Billboards is in jail and facing possible conviction for the murder of his 2 friends. So what exactly happened? How a guy who probably had a promising career ahead of him found himself in jail for such a serious crime? Come with me as I take a look at the incident, his possible conviction, and his life that lead him to the present situation. Early life and introduction to crime. Born on the 1st of May, 1999, to a 14-year-old single mother named Jamie Demons, King Jamell's childhood and early life wasn't really ideal. Because of an obvious shortage of money, the mother-son duo soon moved to the poorer parts of Gifford, Florida, and it was here where his affiliation with different sorts of crimes started. During early years of his life in Florida, he joined an infamous gang of street criminals called Bloods. In the year 2015, Jamell was arrested because of shooting at a group of students near Vero Beach High School. As a result, he was convicted of aggravated battery, discharging a firearm in public, and aggravated assault, for which he served several months in prison. Music career. Apart from crime, the other thing that had most of interest of Jamell was music. In his early teenage years, he started making and writing his own music. By the age of 15, he was posting his songs on the famous music app SoundCloud. The very next year, he adopted the stage name of YNW Melly, the name that most of us know him by today. In 2017, and by the way, while he was still in jail, Melly released his first ever project that featured singles with well-known artists like Lil B and John Wicks. In 2018, he released different singles including Melly the Menace, Slang That Iron, For Real, and Butter Pecan, each of which got millions of views on YouTube, thus making him a somewhat household name in pop world. His debut mixtape, I Am You, came in the following year, which also later on appeared on the Billboard 200. On 18th of January 2019, Melly released his second mixtape, which had huge names like Kanye West, Fredo Bang, and music director Cole Bennett associated with it. His debut studio album named Melly vs. Melvin came in the same year, which actually skyrocketed his success by becoming number 8 on the Billboard 200. Up until now, we have established that Melly, in fact, was a successful musician, and if not for his life of crime, he must have been destined for success. So what exactly happened? And why, during the release of most of his mainstream music, he was still behind the bars? Let's take a look at the parallel life led by the singer that almost always led him back behind the bars. The Melly crime timeline. If you remember earlier in the video, I told you about a conviction of Melly because of assault in 2015. Due to this, he ended up serving a year in prison and was released on probation, but I guess this wasn't enough for teaching him a lesson. Just 2 years later, Melly was arrested again for violating his probation and again ended up in jail for several months. He was released in March 2018, but only 2 months later in June, he was arrested once again for possession of drugs and ammunition. The very next year, Melly was again arrested on January 3rd, 2019, in Fort Myers for carrying marijuana on him. A month later, on February 3rd, the police charged him with 2 counts of murders related to a shooting that took place in October 2018. The double murder. On the unfateful day of October 26th, 2018, a shooting took place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This shooting resulted in deaths of 2 aspiring rappers named Anthony DeAndre Williams, YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., YNW Juvie. What first appeared as a drive-by shooting by opposite gang members is now thought to be a fully considered murder done by YNW Kelly. According to authorities, Melly hatched a plan with a fellow YNW rapper, Cortland Malik Henry, YNW Bortland, to murder Anthony and Christopher, and then make it look like a shooting. Now that's a pretty stupid plan. Charges and arrest. On February 12, 2019, Melly was charged with these murders, and the next day, he turned himself with making an announcement on his Instagram page stating, "No, I did not get locked up in Washington, but I am turning myself in today. A couple months ago, I lost my 2 brothers by violence, and now the system want to find justice. Unfortunately, a lot of rumors and lies are being said, but no worries, God is with me and my brother Gin Bortland, and we want y'all to remember it's a YNW family, I love you." Later on, it was found that this wasn't the first murder related to Melly and Henry. The duo was also suspected in the fatal shooting of an off-duty Indian River County Sheriff's Department deputy Gary Chambliss in Gifford in the year 2017. Constant delay in the trial. In November 2021, Melly was given the trial date of March 7, 2022. The trial later got delayed, and a new date was set to be of June 6, 2022. When the trial still didn't take place on the said date, Melly's team requested for a speedy trial. The capital punishment. On 6th of July, 2022, an announcement was made stating that Melly will no longer face a capital punishment if he is convicted for the murders. But 3 months later, in November, this decision was overturned by a senior judge, making Melly eligible for the punishment once again. Melly's team obviously appealed against this decision in the Supreme Court of Florida, but their attempt wasn't fruitful. The trial begins. After continuous delays and media attention, the jury selection for the case finally began on April 11, 2023, and 2 months later, on June 12, 2023, his trial started at last. Now that you are all caught up, let's take a look at how this trail is actually going on, and what, according to the recent updates, will be the result of this trial. The 12th of June. The trial began on the morning of the 12th of June in Florida's Broward County courtroom. Since the very first day of trial, some pretty big names of the rap industry have been associated with the case. The very first day of trial was attended by American rapper Boozy, who extended his full support to Melly, saying he was going to the trial to support him. He talked in an interview before the trial saying, "I talked to his mom the other night. I'm going to support Melly. I was on a plane with Melly one day in the airport with him. We was in the airport and he took his credit card out. He ain't let me buy nothing, bro. He bought all my food, my magazines. All through the airport, he like, 'Oh gee, you ain't spending no money. So I'm gonna support that little nigga, dog.'" After the opening statement from both sides, prosecutor Christine Bradley said that, "What you're also going to find out is that while Mr. Demons is out on the road at 4 in the morning, he sends a drop pin to his current location to one of his friends, Frederick Givens. Frederick Givens is also involved in the music industry, and Melly asked to be picked up." The 20th of June. Melly's team submitted a motion for a mistrial on the 20th of June, but Broward County Circuit Judge John Murphy denied the motion. The motion was submitted after Melly's lawyer said that the case was befouled because Felicia Holmes, who's the mother of one of Melly's ex-girlfriend, was allowed to take the stand and give her testimony. But you might wonder why Melly's team would have a problem with this testimony. Actually, the defense argued that her testimony was important because in 2018, Melly allegedly talked to his girlfriend about the night of murders. The 27th of June. On the 27th of June, prosecution claimed that YNW Melly has ties with Blood's gang, and this association was in fact one of the motives behind the murders. To further support the claim, the prosecution team obtained and showed 123 messages between different members of the gang. These messages had multiple mentions of many high-profile names, including Young Thug, Boozy, French Montana, Juelz Santana, and Quando Rondo. The 29th of June. On 29th of June, the crime scene detective Sergeant Christopher Williams appeared before the court and claimed that the murders didn't happen because of a drive-by shooting. According to him, shooting happened from somebody inside the car. Williams made these claims after he recreated the whole scene and debunked the claims made by Melly by showing the angles at which the bullets had hit the victim. According to the detectives, the shooting was done by someone who was sitting in the back seat of the car. Disrespect to the victims? When the footage of Trail from June 14th went viral, the singer was seen smiling and laughing in court. On the same day, he's even seen praying and then blowing a kiss towards cameras. This gesture didn't sit right with most of the people related to the case. According to Leandra Phillip, who's the mom of one of the victims, he did it a couple times. That wasn't his first time. She also went on to call the kiss disrespectful. She also said that, "I walked out because I don't What you praying for? You sitting there like you ain't got no remorse? Like every time I walk in, you smiling? This ain't the time for that. This is sad. This case is serious. The future of the case. The trial is still underway, but according to many experts, the crime scene doesn't really support Melly's claims, and this might result in getting a conviction against him. Although nothing can be said for sure, there's no denying that Melly is certainly hiding something from the authorities, and the real truth will be revealed soon. I'll see you soon with further proceedings in the case. Until then, adios.